Representative Krause, number one, appreciate the time you spent with us discussing this bill in your office and your open door policy. It's greatly appreciated and productive. My apologies for being in opposition, but that's where we stand.
You have every right to be wrong. That's okay. I'm okay with that.
I've heard that before, mostly at home. The way this bill was brought to you was one of transparency, and I'm sorry I missed most of the layout. I was in the hall, but I heard that again. Transparency is a good thing in a vacuum, but we have to consider the circumstances. I think that privacy is also important. I think that in the context of a lawsuit, admissibility is important. Discoverability is important. And the lawyers know that to mean either admissible or will lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. And in lawsuits, cases are about did someone do something wrong? And if they did, what damage did they cause? And so my question in this situation would be, what is the need for the transparency for these type litigation funding agreements? I don't know the answer to that question other than for one side or the other to gain some sort of advantage in the lawsuit. These funding agreements won't prove liability. They won't prove damages. They will show that someone needed help to push forward litigation, many times life-changing, product-changing, industry-changing litigation. Important funding, and it will show how much funding. And typically, these cases, these larger cases, are against billion-dollar companies or multi-billion-dollar companies or defendants who are backed by billion-dollar or multi-billion-dollar insurance companies. These are the folks that are looking for discovery in a mandatory way, these litigation financing agreements that will show not just private information, but information that will let them know what it's going to take to run you down. They will know when that funding will run out. And they will make sure that they push you past that line. In cases that are industry-changing, life-changing for thousands upon thousands, particularly in the pharma-type litigation. Now, that's in the commercial setting. I have clients who need litigation funding to pay rent because they happen to be hit by a truck in such a way that kept them out of work for weeks or for months, or had them in the hospital to where they weren't working, couldn't make money to pay their bills. So they needed a $2,500 check, $5,000 check, whatever it took to get them to the point of holding the defendant accountable. And if the defendant were to know that, the desperation that our clients face, I can only imagine they would use that against them. I know this was not the intention of the bill. I know it was not. I'm afraid that's how it will be used. This is why we oppose it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Members' questions. Vice Chair Farrar.
I don't practice in your areas. I just have a quick question. So if this bill wants to know kind of, I guess, the financial wherewithal of the plaintiff, is the same available, or is the plaintiff able to know the financial wherewithal or health of the person they're suing, or the company that they're suing?
So that's a great question. The current disclosure rules require that the defendant turn over insurance. That's to tell you what funds are available. It helps resolution of cases. You know that kind of the universe of money that's there to cover the damage. That makes sense. That can push a case towards resolution. in cases involving punitive damages, you sometimes can know the defendant's net worth, but I think it was 2 sessions ago now, the legislature put in place a mechanism that would require some sort of proof that you would succeed on the punitive damages phase before you got that information. It's not automatic. Ken King's bill, I'm advised.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. For our members, any other questions? Okay. Mr. Adams, thank you.